Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Mario Kart Universal cast. Can't believe it, we're doing another one. It's only a year since the last one we've done one. Welcome to Revival Casting. We are using, indeed, the finest 2015 Robert Lewandowski Best Goals remix songs. Can't believe it. Just waiting for the final couple of people to join the room. Looks like we've got 11 in at the minute. In terms of hosting, Dark Phantom Knights will be hosting this war, which means Revival, I believe, will have quite a few of the lower spots going into this. Leroy joined quite late, doing a few practice races. Good opportunity potentially to be doing something like a Mario Circuit 3 from them. We're about to find out, though. What a moment for that drop. Can't believe it. This is amazing. What a moment for my stream. Right, I'm going to take the music off. So I don't know what Robert Lewandowski's highlights reel is going to sound like. So I'm very sorry if you get one of those that you've just heard. But yeah, so welcome those who are coming in right now to this Revival MK stream between Revival and Dark Phantom Knights, who have got such a long name. I'm afraid they are just DP Knights on our graphic. What a moment, otherwise you'd have a tiny little graphic. And it looks as if everyone would love to join the room. What a moment. And Kai is not waiting. Cannot believe it. As one of the original lineup for Team Revival has not turned up. What a moment. Great organisation from them. Let's quickly just see if anything's happening in the chat. No. Oh, looks like Yuto is indeed joining. What a moment. I'll get Toadbot ready to get the scores. Can't believe it. Great scores. But like we say, with Revival getting quite a few of the lower spots, as we know, Yuto joining quite late, Leroy deliberately joining a little bit late. We may be seeing a Mario Circuit 3 coming in quite early for Revival here. Obviously, if you're Dark Phantom Knights in this situation, in week 1, match 1, and you're coming up against Revival, and you're in a lot of these positive positions, as I've just seen a gingerbread man me come in. What a moment for him. I have no idea what that attempt of a name is. I cannot read attempted Japanese, so we're going to go for that. But if I was Dark Phantom Knights here and I was in a few of the good spots, I'd be looking more like a Sunshine Airport, like a Hyrule Circuit, that kind of track. We are waiting to see what Leroy wants to pick here. But I would assume... Oh no, it looks as if going Super Bell, they must have had a couple of the higher spots in the room. Didn't get to see it because Leroy joined so late. But Snesbo, a very traditional runner. Going to be seeing who out of the two wins the track pick war, and I'm afraid for Revival it is going to be Snesbo coming out. What a moment. So, thankfully they're all names I can read. So that's a positive for those who don't want me to try and read long names. Leroy going to be starting with 4 coins. Obviously coins quite important in this game. For those of you who haven't seen Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Competitive, we will try and explain a few of the strats as Leroy gets hit out and he's going to be starting this one from the back, unfortunately for him. As he gets a single box, does this lovely shortcut, but Revival holding a few of the low spots. A little bit of possible bagging going on at the back with that Wario having his time to shine. He's loving it, that Wario, as Leroy is soon to get his full share of coins. shrooming up. Looks like Revival, though, in quite a few good spots. 2 through to 5 as it stands. As Leroy gets another box. Going to be fantastic. A red shell. As he gets into second. And is able to throw that red. That means Dark Phantom Knight's in first. Blue going, oh, Leroy, no! What a moment for Leroy as he gets blued off. And then backed. And then the shot comes in. And that's going to be a Revival shock. I guess that was just a quick call to get a few dodges in case Dark Phantom Knight had got anything further back. Leroy is, as it stands, fighting to get a few higher spots. Is going to be able to spam that fire out. Can he get a second player? Probably not worth the risk with Trippy in front of him. As now it's going to be Gale and Javi in front of him from Dark Phantom Knight. He's got to watch out with those stars. He is going to get past a couple of them, but only an 8th place finish for Leroy. Top 5, though. Fantastic from Revival. What a moment, as I now have to try and put the scores in because no one else has. Right, and that's going to be 59 to 23. As we press the save button on all of it. Oh, no, I've accidentally pressed the emotes key. What a moment. 59 to 23 after one race. Up 36. Obviously, being in Revival's position, it's going to be a runner. And in Dark Phantom Knights, they're going to want a bagger. They've gone for one of the more common baggers in Mario Circuit GBA, but they're not going to be lucky enough to receive that. That's going to be Neo Bowser City coming out from Revival. Neo Bowser City, a strong runner. If you're on an inward vehicle, it's not so ideal. If you're on one of these outwards like Leroy is, you're having a great day. And Urpa has decided it's time to not start correctly, so what a shame for him as Leroy instantly getting past the number of the players on his couple of bonus coins helping him as well. Going to be getting past into first place. More coins on 6 coins, probably the most coins out of the few top runners as it stands, and he's going to be getting all his way to 10 coins with his trail for defense. That's a positive, and looks like Revival managed to hold on to 3 as well. Kai in third, and Yuto still up there. Just a couple of people struggling. Obviously, Urpa with his dodgy start technique. Not a traditional start, as we like to call it. But there we go. I guess he's got the opportunity to bag if they need. Looks like one person's decided it's time to bag. I don't know for what team, unfortunately. But we definitely know that Leroy likes to try and outrun these other players, and he's done so before playing for the national team for the Netherlands in the past on Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I believe. But unfortunately for him, this blue is going to be coming in. Will they maybe have a shock? No shock cancel. Shock could be in play at this point. It has been, I'd say, at least a good 1 minute 40 on the clock for these players, as Yuto's in a star. Maybe predicting a shock from the other team would indicate that they definitely don't have shock in Revival, as these triple reds, he's got to be very careful with his own team back around him, as these shrooms are ideal for him to keep his position as long as he can get a defense in the back. And he'll be doing that cut. Gets a ghost, he's going to spam it, doesn't really make much difference. And that's going to be 4-5 for Revival. And that's going to be top 2, 4-5. Oh, it's not top 2. Silly me. I can't read. 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10. Oh no, we may have accidentally duplicated that race. So unfortunately for them, it is 102 to 62. And we've done El Stink. What a moment for us. Can't believe it. We've had 2 people use the bot for this race. As we try and figure out how to use the bot. There we go. I've now learned how to use a bot. Can't believe it. As we head to... Okay! Big Blue coming out here, I believe, from Dark Phantom Knights. I guess with those spots, they've got to capitalise on their first place, while at the same time, they have got a few of those bottoms that need to catch up quite quick. And I guess this is one of those tracks where it's free coins for those behind, as opposed to being coin-starved near the back. And Leroy's going to be making the most of that coin strip as he gets towards 8 coins. Kira in first for Dark Phantom Knights. Will be holding on as it stands. Depending on what items though. Oh no, Leroy with 1 coin. And oh, it's a green for Kira. That's a good pull for Kira's defence. Yuto though seems to be just about edging in front. And oh, good snipe on Leroy. Gets him out of contention for the top spots as it stands. And Yuto had to watch out there with that red right behind him. But as it stands, it's quite a mixed race so far. Big Blue, one of the few tracks where it's not a circuit. You are just doing 1 run. So, obviously, they're now getting into the final section of Big Blue. With Dark Phantom Knights in at least 2-3. Not sure who's first. Looks like it could be Erpa. It's still Erpa. Okay, fantastic for Revival's situation. But for Dark Phantom Knight, that's exactly what they wanted, is getting Leroy out there. Because if all Revival's got Erpa, that's definitely not enough for a winning race. But we'll find out as we do see Yuto, Trippy, Chosen, Leroy, all bottom half. This could be a devastating blow for Revival. And that horn is going to earn Dark Phantom Knights a couple of bonus spots as well. That's going to be Revival getting bottom 4. So 2-7 bottom 4. Not ideal at all. And 2-7 bottom 4 is not good whatsoever, as we're about to find out, as that pulls it straight back. That's a 28-54 race, and that's going to be 130 to 110. No, 116. I can't read my own work. 130 to 116 after 3. So Revival ahead by 14 points, but they have spent the last couple of races losing a little bit more. I mean, especially that third race there. The second race they did win, but not by much. First race was a big win. And they lost quite a lot of ground there on race 3. Race 4 is going to be a runner as well. So that Mario Circuit 3 I was on about for potential bagging from Revival has not come out when they needed it. Going to find out what that means. A few very competent runners for Revival, but obviously Dark Phantom Knights have proven themselves as well, having got into this division. Quite a lot of history behind these two teams. Not against one another, but obviously Revival is well over a year old at this point. Dark Phantom Knights has been around for some time as well. And it's going to be an interesting matchup as we get towards, you know, the later stages of this war. So the first few races in Revival's favour, but not by much. And Revival here in 3-4. As it stands, Dark Phantom Knights taking this top 2 on Wario Stadium, but all could change. Leroy has 9 coins as it stands, but it seems as if it's only Dark Phantom Knights in front of him. No real front presence from the rest of Revival, and that could pose a risk. Leroy managing to battle his way through a couple of the risks he's got, but if that's Dark Phantom Knights behind him. All he's going to be up against is reds, followed by back spam, followed by reds, and he's going to be opting to use... Oh, great back spam from Leroy there. Going into that triple green, knows that he doesn't need to really worry with that banana either. Now has no defense in third though, and that could pose costly depending on who's behind him. He's not looking back anywhere near the amount I normally would have, but that's personal preference. Blue is coming out, so they're going to be trying to get Leroy this first place. I think that is the key hope. We know that a number of the players around him are all Dark Phantom Knights. It's going to be a struggle to get Leroy into first though, because Kira is running away really well as it stands. And unless that green connects, which it doesn't look like it's going to be the right angle from here. No, not the right angle. Leroy having to be careful using his own coin, but that's not a great race for Revival again, I believe, unless behind the scenes maybe that's a bottom two for Dark Phantom Knights. That might salvage a couple of the points back, but it's not ideal. So 2, 3, 5. So that's going to mitigate the damage. 2, 3, 5, 8, 10, 12. Mitigating the damage, but not winning the race there, as it's now 169 to 159. And that gap now edging towards 10 points. Just a reminder, a couple of races ago, that was a 40-point lead. Dark Phantom Knights doing incredibly well to get where they are so far. In terms of track picks, we've got an Ice Outpost, so a kind of mid-pack runner from Revival. Royal Raceway coming in for Dark Phantom Knights. Going to be seeing who gets this. I know that a couple of the Revival players would rather not see Royal Raceway at the moment, but they're lucky enough to get Ice Outpost. Fortunate for them, they haven't had the track picks for the last few races, so this could be the way to swing that momentum back in their favour with a track that they do prefer as it stands. And Leroy's going to be trying to go for a box, but gets prevented by Kira there from Dark Phantom Knights. Kira, though, dropping back as it stands for Revival to get a couple of these high positions. Revival do need a couple of good races to pull that momentum back in their favour. They have let it slip from that final few races. 2 reds is good for protection. It's definitely good with the people around him as well, because they're both Revival. That bomb they don't really need to worry about. That's going too wide. So as it stands, Trippy with the coin in first. Not sure what he's holding that for in particular, but Erpa definitely has protection. Leroy has protection. I'm afraid that coin's not done any wonders for Trippy, but that's fine. Revival won't care. This top 2 is going to be the kind of result they need to pull it back. Obviously in the lead, but momentum-wise they are slipping. And they need a good race here. Leroy with a mistake is not what they wanted to see, but still top 3. Leroy's going to be that meat shield in third, though. Putting up against a boomerang so far. The blue coming out as well. Not ideal news for Revival. Definitely not ideal. Erpa not dodging whatsoever, and he's got to watch out with Leroy's back spam there. Another red for Leroy. He's probably going to hope that one of these Dark Phantom Knight players makes the mistake of getting in front of him, but it's not going to happen that easily, and it's just happened on the bend. Fortune for Revival as it stands. He will be avoiding that red and getting second. Yuto getting third. Erpa getting 4th. That's a fantastic race for Team Revival, as we are going to be seeing top 4, 6, 12. Fantastic way to regain that momentum they were losing. Top 4, 6, 12. That's going to be 223 to 187 now. They've just gained another 26 points on that lead. Now up 36. And that momentum is just right in the ball for Revival again. Dark Phantom Knights, you're going to be seeing probably a Mario Circuit GBA pick. Revival, you're probably going to be seeing that Sunshine, yeah. Oh no, Dark Phantom Knights playing it brave with lovely Super Bell Subway. But we will see what happens here. 5 races in, we're about to hit that halfway point. And we've seen crazy things happen before on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Can we see it happen again for Dark Phantom Knights, or will Revival hold on in the next 7 races? Super Bell going to be the pick. Dark Phantom Knights going to be the happier of the two for that one. We're going to be seeing what Dark Phantom Knights can do on Super Bell Subway. Super Bell Subway, the kind of track where traditionally you would have someone hard bagging. You are going to be seeing some hard baggers there as well. So like we say, bagging, for those who aren't aware, a strategy where someone will hover towards the back of the pack, whether it's the back of the pack or quite a distance behind, like on this occasion, to get a power item. So in this occasion it's going to be the shock. The goal from both teams. This track is one that favours those who can dodge, so you see it's a competitive strategy to have someone what we call hard bagging, so quite far in the distance. As it stands though, Leroy in 3rd will be getting that horn, and that's an ideal opportunity to be horning some players out, but no defence, and Gale will be knocking him out. So a few decent spots as it stands for Dark Phantom Knights, but 2, 3, 4 for Revival will be enough to mitigate it regardless. And that first place for Dark Phantom Knights will be quite worried about what 2, 3, 4 have got in their arsenal. We know Leroy's got some shells in his arsenal. We know Trippy's gone for a shortcut. Blue coming in. Gale is not going to be happy if he can't dodge that. And that's not a dodge, so top 2 as it stands for Revival. It's all down to the shock. Lots of dodges coming in. Revival won't be the ones dodging, it seems, so if one person has got the shock, it's going to be Dark Phantom Knights, unless Revival pull it quite late. Revival, though, holding on to a lot of these top spots, so I think if Leroy can get defence behind the shroom just as an emergency, yep, and he can, that's going to be top 2 guaranteed for Revival, yep. It's just down to who gets those lower spots. Erpa not doing great, I can see on the line, has been hit. Oh, Dark Phantom Knights doing really well there to stop that being a good race for Revival. Top 2, but only 6, 9, 10, 11. So top 2, 6, 9, 10, 11 is going to be the position. So top 2, 6, 9, 10, 11. And yeah, Revival winning that, but not by too much. Only a +4. Going to be 266 to 226 as it stands. 40 points up, going into the halfway point. Respectable score, but Dark Phantom Knights are still within the grasp of only needing 1 or 2 good races to get that back. We've seen them do it already. We've seen Revival have their momentum slip on a couple of occasions, but we've also seen Dark Phantom Knights let their guard down. It is really all down to this momentum, these track picks. Hyrule Circuit would be a great runner for the top 2 for Revival. I'm not sure the lower spots would be ideal, but I guess they're making the best out of some weird positions. Top 2, 6, 9, not going to be standard runners that they would like to have. But they're going to be getting Sweet Sweet Canyon, which does favour these mid spots of Dark Phantom Knights. So, as it stands, Dark Phantom Knights have probably had the better of the track picks, I would argue. Revival have obviously been going for the right kind of tracks, but not been receiving the tracks when they've needed them. And when they have got them, they've used them to their advantage, but so have Dark Phantom Knights in this incredibly close war so far. Leroy going to be trying to run this, though. See whether or not that works. Obviously, quite a shortcut with the donut towards the final turn. So, for those who aren't aware, you might be seeing Leroy take that a bit later in this race, but definitely not in second place unless he gets a Wonder Shroom. He might be going for that green shell on the Polish player, but doesn't manage. Does actually get the Wonder Shroom second place and will be taking the cut. Revival in a lot of top spots. I'm not sure that's ideal. That Wario and a Ghost at the back will be possibly taking one of the defensive items. You don't know. Ghosts need to be called in this game due to the damage that they can cause if they're not coordinated properly. Leroy getting some coins, not ideal, but does have a defense behind it, so I guess might be trying to just pretend he hasn't got one. No, or play smart like I normally would, unlike we saw a couple of races ago from someone. Unfortunately, though, another Ghost will be taking his green, so it means he's only got a bomb. As it stands, though, doesn't make much difference. Revival behind him in all the spots. It is down to who has that shock, though. So he's not been target shocked. 2-3 haven't been target shocked. I would indicate that probably Dark Phantom Knights aren't in luck for the shock. So unless they're coordinating a late one, I think Leroy's probably quite safe. I'd say Yuto's in danger, but Erpa doing all right there in second place run-wise. He's probably got just enough distance. Yuto has taken the fall as we did predict. Not going to take much. Oh, he's been hit again. Oh, I can't believe it. That's devastating for Yuto's race. He gets last out of that third place. That is unbelievable for Yuto. He's going to be livid there, but top 2, 6, 8, 9, 12. So another one of those where it's not good positions, really. I mean, it's a win, but it's not a good win. Top 2, 6, 8, 9, 12. Top 2, 6, 8, 9, 12 going to be a +6, so very similar to the last few races. Not exactly the positions you'd need for one of the out-and-out runners. I mean, top 2 is great, but behind it, not so much. They might be looking towards, yeah, one of Leroy's favourite runners, Melody Motorway, Music Park. We're going to be seeing Dark Phantom Knights go with Snow Circuit there. Snow Circuit, one with a massive shortcut. Revival like to call it Schnee, after the German word for snow. So we're going to be seeing whether or not we get... I mean, we could get that Twisted Mansion, that one Twisted Mansion. We don't get that Twisted Mansion. Bad luck to the player who tried that. But we are going to be getting Snowland. And Snowland, like we say, one of those where we'll probably see Leroy lose a few spots after that first couple of bends with the shortcut. But in a way, I would argue for Leroy, that's not bad. And Leroy actually doesn't care. So Leroy's going to be going for slowing down to get a shroom. He gets his shroom. He probably wanted triple shrooms to be fair, so that he could do it a few times, but he will be getting into second place, first place, second place, Penguin, first place, second place. What a moment for Leroy. That bend is havoc for the position tracker, as you can probably tell by my interesting commentary, but Erpa has horned out a couple of these players for Dark Phantom Knights. Chosen getting up into the action as well. Haven't seen too much of Kai in these top spots recently, but I'm sure there's a good reason. Probably coordinating near the back. Blue Shell already coming in, and Leroy's too late for the dodge. And it looks as if Dark Phantom Knights will be getting a couple of these spots. Kai coming in, just like it was on cue. Kai coming into third place. Has to watch out for this green. And the horn. What a moment for Kai getting hit out. Leroy might want to use that horn now. Yep, as he does, to get a couple of these Dark Phantom Knights players out. Got to watch out, because a number of these Revival players are in need of catching up. Leroy in first. Fantastic. Oh no, not Leroy, sorry. Erpa in first. Leroy in second. Getting readied out very early on into that bend. But it's okay, because it's his team overtaking him. So I don't know who out of his team may have readied him. But it was definitely a miscomm. And he's going to be going for that last turn. And getting pushed wide and failing. And doesn't matter, because the finish from Lakitu gives him a strong race. So, unfortunately, it appears as if Revival didn't get top 3 there for their sanity. They got 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. So, a winning race, I believe, but not. It's one of those where, again, it's not convincing. Let's have a little look just to see. It's a win by 10. It's one of those borderline ones where if Dark Phantom Knights had got like 1 or 2 more good spots, it would have been a loss. But Erpa is bopping in the chat apparently. What a moment for Erpa, as they're 56 up going into the final 4 races. Four races to go. We will see Twisted, so that's a mid-spots track. Like we say, it was a little bit of a mid situation for both teams there. Revival just getting that 2, 3, 4 to get the better out of DPK, but it's not the end of the world for any of the two teams. Twisted Mansion is coming out. Like we say, that mid-pack presence, but it's another one where we might see one of those hard bag strats. So we'll have to see who the lucky one is to sit in last place and go a few times with their engine to full start. It's not Leroy, we know that much, but there is a couple of players. Yeah, there's definitely a couple holding back. Not holding back as hard as some others would in scrims, but definitely holding back enough. Chosen there getting into first place. Leroy does have the opportunity to red out, but I guess doesn't have the space on Trippy's screen. Definitely won't have the space when he's taking these lines, because Trippy will be catching up. And he's taking an interesting way to try and outline Clove here, but doesn't succeed. Could have readied Clove out there, but has gone safe. Really not sure about whether or not he can lag someone out. Oh no, blue coming in. That makes more sense. And Clove dodged. So that was interesting, to say the least. But Revival are in a couple of the spots behind. In fact, quite a lot of the spots behind, to be fair. 2, 3, 4 at least. Leroy might want to... Oh, shot coming in. TSing the first place. And Revival actually are in a really good position with a lap to go. Really, really positive position. Leroy not in so positive of a position with that manoeuvre, but doesn't matter. He's hit out a couple of players. That boomerang, very laggy, but not successful on the player's screen that he was hitting. We will be seeing him try to hold on to these spots as one gets past. Trippy also trying to battle on, but see, those triple greens are ideal for the defence. Given the positions, and given the fact that it looks like Trippy may have been horned out there. Leroy went for the Brave, and he's got the Brave. And it looks like he might be getting second, depending on the shrooms. Second for Leroy. I believe that might have been fourth for one of the other Revival players. Top 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. And that is one of the races that's going to be defining on pulling away. Top 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. You know, who said that momentum had died in this war? That's a plus 22 for Revival, and they are so close to that safety line. I think they might actually... Are they over that safety line? No, they're not just yet, but they're so, so close. I mean, we'd have to see, but I think we are on the verge of Revival winning this first match in the season. Dark Phantom Knights have put up a very, very good fight. But I just don't see them scoring 162 in 3 races. That's not just a professional opinion. Just, you know, we've only had one race that's that dominant in the whole war so far to potentially even get close. We had that 54 point, and even then that was near perfect. Mario Circuit 3, however, is coming in, so that is a bagger. Revival going to have a couple of these runners. It depends how hard you bag. If you bag too hard, it's pointless. If you don't bag enough, it's pointless because you get hit out by people behind you. If you run, you're probably more safe than if you bag wrong. And Leroy is currently doing that run, along with not many other people from his team, it seems. He's getting a lot of things thrown at him. And whereas some haven't connected, others could have done if it weren't for the defence items that are being pulled. That's not a defence in his pocket, though. That's a golden coin. What a moment for the golden coin. As we are seeing him do this lovely shroomless cut over and over again to skip the turn. It seems as if that shroomless cut is just something that's beyond a few of these other players. This is, like we say, where Leroy's experience comes in. As a former national team player, he does have a couple of these shortcuts up his sleeve, even on tracks where they're only coming out recently. You know, these booster course pass tracks, they're interesting. They're definitely interesting. The tech is a little bit different on some of them. And that looks like that could have been a Revival shock, actually, with Yuto dodging, but we'll have to find out, as there's definitely attempts yet. Trips coming in. Yuto coming in, and I think this could be game over for Dark Phantom Knights, because 135 would definitely... Oh, Leroy getting hit out again on the line. But I don't think it's going to make enough of a difference. Yeah, that's unfortunate for Leroy, but who cares if you're a Revival fan, because that is 2, 3, 4, 6, and that's enough to solidify the win. 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12. And that is definitely enough to get over the safety line. Yep, no chance now for Team Dark Phantom Knights. What I would say about this war is that it's a great example of the momentum as it stands. So we've seen what a couple of good track picks have done so far. We will see for the final 2 races probably what a couple of good track picks could do. But Revival have made the most of it. Dark Phantom Knights also doing their best, but their best on this occasion not enough for Revival's strength, going for one of their stronger lineups. Dark Phantom Knights also going for one of their stronger lineups, but you know, sometimes you get the luck, sometimes you don't get the luck. And for Revival, it's going to be good looking into this second match that also will be casted between Kart Vengers. For Dark Phantom Knights, I would just say, look up. You know, this performance is not an embarrassment at all for them. It's been a great demonstration of them getting some of this momentum back. Obviously, they've fought against Revival. Revival, one of those teams where it's very hard to place them in the seedings. They've had a few great seasons, a few not so great seasons. They are in form. Dark Phantom Knights not so in form recently. You know, Revival are taking on teams that are a few divisions higher than them in scrims and doing okay. Dark Phantom Knights, I'm sure, are doing similar things, but the form Revival are in right now, you need to be something special to be beating them sometimes, and Dark Phantom Knights have done their best to their best. This war, not enough, but I'm sure in future matches it will be far, far closer than this. We've seen it's been a matter of 2 or 3 shocks, and as Yuto and Leroy are top 2, that's unfortunate for Yuto, because Leroy had 2 shrooms and he's just basically ran away. And the shot coming in, what a moment. So Dark Phantom Knights are going to be doing their best to claw this back as close as they can. This is not an embarrassment, like I've said. Full respect to them for their efforts in this war, even if Revival have ended up taking that golden crown. And that was a good way to make him waste his ghost, to be fair, from Leroy throwing that bomb. With a green and a red. He's going to be throwing that green, he'll be throwing that red, and he gets a shroom, doesn't matter. Boomerang hits him. Another shroom, needs it. Ideally for him, he'd want more shrooms, but as it stands, looks like Dark Phantom Knights are actually getting the race they needed, but they needed that race 2 or 3 races ago to be back in that momentum battle. It's unfortunate for them, but I think it's definitely too little too late for this war. But fantastic fight back effort there. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 from Revival. So a loss for Revival that race, but what a moment for them. So this is a Revival team that only a couple of... Oh, I've apparently entered 11 or 7 spots. What a moment. But yeah, it's a Revival team that last season, their top team was really struggling. They were in hot water as it stood. But they've proven themselves, the players that are still with them. They have remodelled. You know, prime example of a remodel that's worked for a team. And Dark Phantom Knights, not far away. Absolutely not far away. I would give them immense credit for the fact that they have done their best. Obviously, a few of them might be a little bit disappointed with their result. But this is early doors in the season. You know, you've got another significant number of wars. I believe 9 more wars going into just making it. You know, making it's hard enough. But, you know, Revival getting into a strong footing to begin with. Grumble Volcano coming in will be benefiting them. Leroy getting hit out already. Not great for him, but... I mean, if you're a member of Revival at the minute, you're in great spirits. If you're a member of Dark Phantom Knights, you are probably not too dejected. You're just looking forward to this next war, because you know you've done fine. You know, Leroy with these shrooms will be getting past a few of them, getting into lap 2. But you know, with the greatest respect, both teams doing really well so far. This final race is just for honour, basically. Revival only need 3 points to put things into perspective to make it a draw. And obviously 6 players are going to score more than 3 points. So, as it stands, Revival in 2-3, also in first. Perfect spots for Revival. This could just be a salt in the wound situation. Top 4 for Revival so far with a lap to go. And I really hope that if this is salt in the wound, it's definitely not enough to put Dark Phantom Knights off of any further performances. They have played so well themselves. You know, massive shout outs to them for holding off. You know, some of these runs that they've been making are more impressive than the Revival ones. But Grumble Volcano is one of those tracks, especially where for Revival they've been playing it day in, day out, every war that they play. Other teams might not be like that. It's definitely a top 3, top 4. Yuto's not going to be getting in on the fridge, I'm afraid, for him. Not a great performance from the Yoshi in the game, but top 4, 7, 11, and that is going to be that nail in the coffin, I'm afraid, for Dark Phantom Knights. So 543 to 441. You know, what a performance from both teams. But we will be looking towards this Kart Vengers game as well now that we've got their Revival on the strong foot following that performance. But, you know, plenty of good showing from the other team as well, from Dark Phantom Knights. But either way, we'll have a little bit of a reset. We'll get ourselves back to scratch. Absolutely nothing on the board. 0-0 and the gang. And we will be seeing you within the next, I'd say, about 15 minutes with Revival Kart Vengers. So please stay tuned. The music will be going back on with a timer. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in a few minutes.